Welcome to the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. I'm your guide. Let's start your journey to greatness together. This is not a book about how to do nothing. It's a wake-up call, a bold blueprint for designing a life filled with freedom, creativity, and most importantly, choice. Not decades from now, but starting today. Let us begin our journey with Chapter 1, Cautions and Comparisons, How to Burn $1 million a Night. Picture this. You're sitting in first class on a late-night flight. The cabin is dim. A low hum fills the air. And across the aisle, the clink of ice in a crystal glass breaks the quiet. A sharply dressed man is sipping his second glass of 25-year-old scotch. His name is Mark. His pinky ring alone could pay your mortgage. His laugh is loud, confident. His stories are the kind that make heads turn. He owns gas stations, liquor stores, even gambling operations in the South. Tim, sitting beside him, asks casually, "What's your favorite business you've built?" Mark pauses, shrugs, then smirks. "None of them. I hate them all." This moment changed Ferriss forever. Here was a man who had everything: money, power, prestige. But he also had nothing that mattered. For 30 years, Mark worked with people he didn't respect, building businesses he didn't enjoy, to fund a lifestyle that no longer excited him. And this is the trap that swallows millions of people every year. We chase success as we're taught to define it: money, titles, applause, until one day we wake up and ask, "Why am I doing all of this?" Tim calls this the trap of the deferrers, people who postpone life in exchange for hard work now, with the hope of retiring someday. They say, just 5 more years. Then 5 becomes 10, then 20, and when they finally reach retirement, they're tired, or ill, or disillusioned. But there's a second path, the path of the new rich, those who redefine wealth, not as money, but as time and mobility. Here's the truth Tim learned: money is not the goal. Lifestyle is. He introduces a powerful idea: relative income. 2 people. One earns $500,000 per year working 80 hours a week in a Manhattan office. The other earns $40,000 per year working 4 hours a day from a beach in Thailand. Who's richer? It's not about absolute income. It's about time, mobility, freedom. The second person owns their life. That's wealth. The new rich are not always CEOs or influencers. They're the employee who negotiates a remote role and works while traveling. The business owner who delegates everything and checks in weekly. The teacher who takes 3 months off each year to explore the world. They design their lifestyle. They live deliberately. Ferriss challenges us to reject the outdated formula of work until you're 65, then maybe live. Instead, he asks, what if you could live the retirement lifestyle now, while you're still young, healthy, and curious? As we end this chapter, ask yourself, what does rich mean to me? Is it money, or is it freedom? What would my life look like if I optimized for joy, not just income? Remember, luxury is not about Ferraris and yachts. Luxury is being able to wake up and choose how you spend your day. That is the currency of the new rich. Chapter 2 is next, Rules that Change the Rules. But before you turn the page, pause. Close your eyes. Imagine your perfect day. Where are you? What are you doing? Who's with you? That's your real goal. Let's go build it. Chapter 2, Rules that Change the Rules. A young Tim Ferriss is reeling from a breakup. He's burned out at work, tired of the cold calls, exhausted from chasing quotas in his sales job. He's frustrated, but restless. Then, he stumbles across something unexpected: the Chinese kickboxing national championships. Now, here's the thing. Tim has no background in martial arts. He hasn't trained for years. Most would laugh at the idea of entering a national fighting competition with only a month to prepare. But Tim sees something different. He reads the rules closely. He notices a loophole. According to the official guidelines, fighters are grouped by weight, and a match is stopped the moment someone is pushed out of the ring 3 times. So Tim devises a strategy. He aggressively cuts weight, water, salt, food, to drop down into a lighter class. Then he trains not just to fight, but to push. His plan? When not by knockout, but by positioning. Push his opponents out 3 times, quickly, and in the match. 1 month later, against all odds, Ferriss walks into the ring. He fights. He sweats. He stumbles. And then, he wins. Again, and again, until finally, he walks away a champion. Narrator, what does this story tell us? That success often doesn't go to the strongest or the smartest, but to the person who understands the system and questions the rules. This, Ferriss says, is the mindset of lifestyle design. Not playing harder in a broken game, but rewriting the game itself. Narrator: we live in a world full of invisible scripts. Work hard until 65. Climb the ladder. Retire, then live. But what if everything you've been taught is backward? What if the people who live best aren't the ones who follow the rules, but the ones who change them? In this chapter, Ferriss reveals 10 powerful principles that disrupt conventional thinking. 1. Retirement is worst-case scenario insurance. Retirement isn't a goal. It's a backup. The new rich sprinkle retirement throughout life, not wait until the end. 2. Interest and energy are cyclical. You don't need to be productive all the time. Work in sprints. Rest in cycles. Burnout isn't noble. It's a symptom of bad planning. 3. Less is not laziness. Doing less isn't about being lazy. It's about eliminating waste and focusing on what matters. 4. The timing is never right. Waiting for perfect conditions? You'll wait forever. Start messy. Start now. 5. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Don't wait to be told you can live differently. Take action, then prove it works. 6. Emphasize strengths, not weaknesses. Why waste time improving your flaws? Double down where you're great and outsource the rest. 7. Too much of a good thing is bad. Workaholism looks impressive until it breaks you. Balance is strength. 8. Money alone is not the solution. If you can't live your dream on $50,000 per year, $5 million won't help. 9. Relative income matters more than absolute income. $200,000 per year sounds nice, unless it costs you 80 hours a week and your sanity. Time is the true currency. 10. Eustress is good. Eustress, positive stress, pushes us to grow. Don't avoid discomfort. Leverage it. Together, these 10 rules are a lens. They help you see life differently, not as a checklist to survive, but a canvas to design. Ferriss calls this mindset shift, Blue Book from deferral to design. Let's pause for a moment. Imagine your current life is a software program. Are you following the default settings? Or have you written your own code? Most people install, work 9 to 5, commute 2 hours, save for later. But what if you uninstalled those assumptions? What if you built your own program? One that values time, freedom, and fulfillment over blind productivity. That's the foundation. And from here, the blueprint unfolds. Challenge for Chapter 2. List 3 rules you've been following because that's what people do. Now, write an opposite version of each. Could the opposite be more effective? More joyful? Examples. Asterisk default. I have to work 8 hours a day. Opposite. I work only until my priorities are done. Asterisk default. I can't take a break until I retire. Opposite. I plan a mini retirement every year. Today we're diving into Chapter 3 of the 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. This chapter is all about dodging bullets, escaping paralysis, and making fear work for you. So what's the secret? Ferriss introduces a concept so powerful it's become my go-to whenever fear tries to hold me back: fear setting. It's basically like goal setting, but instead of focusing on what you want, it forces you to confront what you fear. Ferriss challenges us with a question: what would you do if you weren't afraid? Really, stop and think. What dream have you locked away? Excused, postponed because of fear? Maybe it's starting that business, pursuing a new love, or even just saying yes to a dream opportunity. For most people, fear, not failure, is what holds us hostage. He shares a story about a guy named Hans Keeling. Hans had it all: the fancy suits, the corner office, the 6-figure salary. But every day, he felt like a fraud. Inside, he was unraveling. He dreamed of quitting, traveling, maybe starting a business. But every time he got close, fear pulled him back. Then one day, while vacationing in Brazil, Hans finds himself atop a cliff with a paragliding instructor. As he leaps off the edge, he experiences pure terror, but also an exhilarating sense of possibility. Soaring above the cliffs, he feels alive. Back in L.A., that feeling doesn't leave him. 3 weeks later, Hans quits his job and launches his own business. But here's the key. He didn't quit impulsively. He used the tool Ferriss introduced: fear setting. It's simple, yet incredibly powerful. Step 1. Define the worst case. Ask yourself, if I take this leap, what's the absolute worst that could happen? Be specific. Write it down. Hans's worst fears included quitting his job and his business failing, burning through his savings, having to move back in with his parents, and losing credibility with colleagues. Now ask yourself, how likely is that really? And even if it happens, could I recover? Hans realized that even if everything went wrong, he'd still have his law degree, his health, and his network. It wouldn't be fun, but it wouldn't be fatal. Step 2. Prevent the worst. Now list ways to prevent those worst-case outcomes. Hans decided to build a cash cushion, start the business as a side hustle, talk to others who'd done it, and give himself a 6-month deadline with a reentry option. Step 3. Repair it if it happens. Ask yourself, how could I bounce back if things go wrong? Hans reassured himself that he could always go back to law, freelance, or live more simply. Now ask the hardest question of all, what is the cost of doing nothing? Hans realized that if he stayed in his unfulfilling job, he'd wake up one day 30 years older with the same dread. That was the real nightmare. Ferriss says, most people choose unhappiness over uncertainty. But that choice, it steals your life. Remember, fear isn't weakness. It's a compass. If something scares you deeply but excites you quietly, it's probably worth doing. Here's your challenge. Try this tonight. Grab a pen, a quiet space, and answer these. 1. What's one thing I've been avoiding because of fear? 2. What's the absolute worst that could happen if I try? 3. How could I prevent that? 4. How could I recover? And 5. What is the cost of doing nothing? Be honest. Write it down. Read it aloud. Reclaim your clarity. This chapter ends not with a command, but with a question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? Fear setting is your flashlight in the dark. Turn it on. Look around. It might not be as scary as you think. Chapter 4. System Reset. Being unreasonable and unambiguous. If you want to change your life, you have to do something radical. You have to reset the system. Most people tweak. They adjust. They compromise. But real transformation requires boldness. It requires unreasonable boldness and crystal clear clarity. Let's break that down. Part 1. Be unreasonable. We're taught from childhood, don't make waves. Follow the rules. Be realistic. But Tim Ferriss says, realistic is the most dangerous word in your vocabulary. Because being realistic is just code for being afraid. Tim ran a nutritional supplements company years ago. Sales were booming, but his life was collapsing. He was drowning in email, working 14-hour days, fielding angry customer calls at 2 a.m. Everyone around him said this was normal. This is what success looks like. But Tim wasn't buying it. So he stopped. He asked himself a radical question. What if I fired 80% of my customers? That's right. He planned to eliminate the most annoying, needy, and profitable clients. And when he did, nothing broke. His stress vanished. His income stayed. His freedom returned. Unreasonable thinking saved his life. The reasonable man adapts to the world. The unreasonable man adapts the world to himself. That's who you need to become. Part 2. Be unambiguous. After you delete what's not working, you need a map of what you actually want. Vague dreams won't guide you. You need specifics. Not, I want freedom, but I want to live in Spain for 2 months this year, take a salsa class in the mornings, and work only 10 hours a week. Ferriss calls this process dreamlining. A mashup of dreams plus timelines equals action. Here's Ferriss's dreamlining formula. First, identify your ideal day. What would excite me to wake up to every day? Travel? Learn guitar? Live in Bali. Second, identify the cost. Get real numbers. Most dreams are cheaper than you think. Third, identify the actions. What can I do in the next 6 months to make it happen? Start small. Start now. Example, Dreamline Life. Dream, live in Thailand for 2 months. Cost, $1,200 per month for rent, food, and co-working. Timeline, save $2,500, outsource business, book one-way ticket. Actions, cancel Netflix, freelance 2 extra gigs per month, hire VA to take over emails. Suddenly the dream is real, tangible, executable. When you define clearly, you act confidently. When you're vague, you stall forever. Clarity isn't a luxury. It's a requirement for freedom. 3 tools to reset your life. Number 1, ask this question, what if I did the opposite of what everyone expects? Number 2, identify your unreasonable assumptions. Like, I can't live abroad. Test them. Break them. Number 3, Dreamline Weekly. Make your desires into deadlines. Tonight, open a notebook. Write your answers to these 3 questions. If I could live anywhere for 3 months, where would it be? What would it cost, really? What would I have to stop doing to make room for it? Then circle one action you can take this week. As we close this chapter, remember this: you were never meant to fit into the system. You were meant to rewrite it. Be bold. Be unreasonable. Be clear. That's how you win back your life. Chapter 5. The End of Time Management, Illusions and Italians. Everyone wants more time. We buy planners. We attend productivity workshops. We try time blocking, deep work, zero inbox. But here's the harsh truth: time can't be managed. Not really. And in Chapter 5, Ferriss challenges everything you thought you knew about productivity, with help from an old Italian economist and a strange law about tasks. Meet Pareto. In the late 1800s, Vilfredo Pareto noticed something odd while tending his garden in Italy. 80% of his peas came from 20% of the pods. Curious, he looked elsewhere and found the same imbalance everywhere. 80% of Italy's land, owned by 20% of the people. 80% of results in business come from 20% of efforts. 80% of complaints come from 20% of customers. This became known as the Pareto Principle, or 80-20 rule. So what? Well, when Tim applied Pareto to his own business, he found 80% of profits came from just 2 clients. 80% of stress came from 5. So what did he do? He fired the stressful clients. His revenue dropped slightly, but his freedom skyrocketed. He went from 12-hour workdays to 2-hour check-ins. It was a revelation. Most of what we do doesn't matter. If you focus on the vital few and ignore the trivial many, life changes. Enter Parkinson's law. A task will swell in complexity to fill the time available for its completion. Give someone 1 week to write a report? It'll take a week. Give them 1 hour? It'll take an hour, or not get done at all. The time you give determines the task size, not the task itself. So how can we use this? 80-20 its principle: do less. Focus on what matters most. Parkinson's law: shrink time. Impose limits. Together, they become a weapon. Ferriss used this combo to cut work hours by 90%, boost results, reclaim his energy. The 4-step time revolution. 1. Identify the 20% of activities producing 80% of your results. These are the gold mines. Prioritize ruthlessly. 2. Identify the 20% of activities causing 80% of your stress. These are the landmines. Eliminate or delegate them. 3. Set short, aggressive deadlines. Instead of 8 hours, give yourself 2. Instead of a week, do it in a day. Or drop it. 4. Create not to-do lists. Productivity is often about subtraction. Story: a designer named Rachel. Rachel was a freelance web designer making $90,000 per year, working 60-hour weeks. She applied 80-20ths and Parkinson's. She dropped her bottom-paying clients. She gave herself hard deadlines for each design draft. She stopped answering emails before 11 a.m. Within 2 months, she was working 4 hours a day and earning more. She focused on what moved the needle. Challenge: reclaim your time. Tonight, do this. 1. Write down everything you did in the past 3 days. 2. Circle the 2 tasks that created most of your results. 3. Circle the 2 tasks that drained you most. 4. For the next 7 days, double down on the first 2 and eliminate the last 2. Time isn't the issue. You don't need to be busy to be important. You don't need to work more to matter more. The goal is not to fill your schedule. The goal is to fill your life. The new rich don't manage time. They master focus. Chapter 6. The Low Information Diet. Cultivating Selective Ignorance. So how many tabs do you have open right now? Email, news, YouTube, WhatsApp web, an article about AI, a headline about a war, a TikTok on productivity. Your brain is juggling 1,000 things, yet nothing truly lands. This is information overload, and it's quietly killing your focus, your energy, and even your joy. Just like your body suffers when you binge on junk food, your mind suffers when you binge on junk data. In Chapter 6, Ferriss proposes a radical solution: the low information diet. Not because information isn't useful, but because most information is useless. Think about it. Every headline, every notification, every pop-up demands a piece of you: your focus, your energy, your willpower. And here's the twist: most of that data never leads to action. We consume information we can't use, won't act on, and quickly forget. Narrator: information without application is mental clutter. So what's the solution? Ferriss suggests adopting a discerning approach to the constant stream of information we face daily. He proposes 3 rules of selective ignorance. Rule number 1. Ignore or eliminate anything that doesn't improve your life or help you take action. No guilt, no apologies, just focus. Rule number 2. Limit news to once per week or less. Scan the headlines if you must, but don't live in reaction mode. Rule number 3. Let smart people curate the world for you. Ask trusted friends what's worth knowing. Use summaries. Stay lean. Now you might be thinking, isn't knowledge the ultimate power? Well, not the kind that clutters your mind and steals your time. True power comes from focusing on what truly matters, from being effective, not just informed. Let me share a story. Matt, the overinformed marketer. Matt prided himself on being plugged in. He read 30 blogs a day, subscribed to every newsletter, followed 200 influencers. But his results? Stagnant. He spent so much time consuming, he had no time to create. After taking Ferriss's advice, Matt unsubscribed from 90% of his info sources. He started writing instead of reading, creating instead of scrolling. Within months, he doubled his output and his income. It's not about knowing less. It's about knowing what matters most. Are you ready to give it a try? Ferriss challenges you to start today. Step 1. Go on a 48-hour news fast. No headlines, no social, no Google rabbit holes. Step 2. Unsubscribe from 5 email lists. If it doesn't inspire or guide action, delete it. Step 3. Limit web surfing to one window, one topic. Close all other tabs. Step 4. Check email just twice per day. Once at noon, once at 4 p.m. That's it. Narrator, these steps are more than suggestions. They're a mental cleanse. When you stop letting the world scream at you, you'll hear something quieter, more important, your own thoughts. And in those thoughts, you'll find ideas, clarity, creativity. The low information diet isn't about knowing nothing. It's about knowing what matters most. Don't be an information glutton. Be an intentional curator. Don't let headlines hijack your headspace. Don't confuse being informed with being effective. Time is precious. So is attention. Protect them both. Chapter 7. Interruption. The art of reclaiming your time. Picture this. You're deep in focus, writing, building, creating something meaningful. Then suddenly, ding, an email. Buzz, a message. Knock. Hey, got a sec? Your momentum shatters. You try to regroup, but the flow is gone. Tim Ferriss calls this the great thief of modern life, interruption. And in Chapter 7, he teaches you how to stop it cold. The hidden cost of interruption. Narrator. Most people think interruptions just take a few minutes. But studies show, every time you're distracted, it takes 20 to 25 minutes to fully refocus. So 5 SEC moments a day, they don't cost 10 minutes. They cost hours of depth, flow, and creative energy. Ferriss warns, your time is limited. Your attention is sacred. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Ferriss's story, from firefighter to architect before he redesigned his life. Ferriss was working 14-hour days. Every day brought dozens of emails, nonstop calls, and endless meetings, constant emergencies. He wasn't running a business. He was running from it, like a firefighter putting out other people's fires. Then he made a shift. Step 1. Create barriers. Ferriss installed 2 guardrails that changed everything. 1. Email autoresponder. Instead of replying to every message instantly, he wrote, I check email once per day at 3 p.m. If urgent, call my assistant. Result? People stopped expecting instant replies and became more concise. 2. Ask 3 before me. He told employees, you must try to solve a problem 3 ways before asking me. This simple rule cut his interruptions by 80%. Crafting the art of saying no. Narrator. Saying no isn't rude. It's responsible. Here are a few Ferriss-approved scripts. Can you email me the details instead? Happy to review after 3 p.m. Please include your suggestion in the email. Is this urgent, or can it wait until our weekly check-in? These polite boundaries train the world to respect your time. Case study. Rachel, the marketing director. Rachel used to spend 6 hours a day in meetings. Her calendar was wall-to-wall. After reading this chapter, she made bold changes. No meeting over 20 minutes. No meeting without an agenda. 1 meeting-free day per week. She reclaimed 15 hours per week and her sanity. Tools to eliminate interruption. Email filters. Route repetitive questions to auto-replies. Voicemail. Let it screen non-urgent requests. Slack boundaries. Set do not disturb hours. Time blocking, block, deep work, hours with no access. Remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow. Challenge for this week. 1. Set an autoresponder. Try. I check emails once daily and will respond by 5 p.m. 2. Batch messages. Only check email, Slack, or text at 2 to 3 set times per day. 3. Decline one meeting. Ask, can this be handled via a one-line email? 4. Track interruptions. For 2 days, write down every time you're interrupted and by what. You'll be shocked. Final thought, you don't need more time. You need fewer distractions. The new rich don't respond to everything. They design their days. They defend their focus. Interruption is optional. Focus is a decision. Chapter 8. Outsourcing life. Offloading the rest to win back your day. You're carrying too much. Your inbox is overflowing. Your to-do list is never-ending. You're answering every email, booking every appointment, researching every flight. And Ferriss is here to say, stop doing everything yourself. Because if someone else can do a task 80% as well as you, let them. Because freedom comes from doing less and doing only what only you can do. The rest? Outsource it. Automate it. Delete it. Welcome to the world of virtual assistants. Ferriss met his first VA in 2005, an English-speaking VA named Honey from India. Her first tasks? Respond to customer service emails, research travel, and even send a romantic apology email to Tim's girlfriend after a forgotten date. Yes, really. It felt strange at first, like giving away pieces of his identity. But within days, his life began to change. Fewer headaches, more space to think, and finally, clarity. What can you outsource? Ferriss gives us a long list, but here's the magic formula. Anything repetitive. Wide heavy checkmark, anything time-consuming. Wide heavy checkmark, anything someone else can do 80% as well. Examples: scheduling meetings, answering FAQs, research, buying gifts, booking flights, following up with leads, writing posts, making social media posts, expense reports, web updates. If it drains you or delays you, it's a candidate. Step 1. Make the I hate doing this list. Every task that drains your energy. Be brutally honest. Step 2. Group into categories: admin, research, customer service, logistics. Step 3. Choose a platform. Ferriss recommends sites like Upwork, Magic, TaskBullet, or Fancy Hands. Or just Google virtual assistant services. Step 4. Start small. Give a test task. Please research 5 co-working spaces in Lisbon with prices and hours. Then gauge quality, speed, communication. Expand from there. Let's meet Nia. Nia is a solo entrepreneur selling handmade jewelry online. Every night she was packing boxes, answering customer emails, managing her website, and posting on Instagram. She was burning out. After reading this chapter, she hired a part-time VA for just $200 per month. That assistant took over customer service, tracking inventory, and posting scheduled content. Within weeks, Nia got her evenings back, and her creativity soared. What's the 80% rule? Ferriss's golden rule. If someone else can do it 80% as well, delegate it. Waiting for perfection is procrastination in disguise. Your time is better spent on vision, not execution. Finally, what about trust? Yes, outsourcing requires trust. Start small, use contracts, set clear expectations. Use tools like Loom for screen recordings, or Trello, or Notion for task management. You don't need to micromanage. You need to let go. Challenge for this week. 1. List 10 tasks you do repeatedly. 2. Pick 2 to outsource. Start with something low risk, like research or inbox cleanup. 3. Test a VA service. Give a real task. Set a budget. Evaluate the result. 4. Track your time saved. What could you now do with that extra hour? The goal isn't to do more. It's to be free to focus on what really matters: creating, thinking, resting, living. Outsourcing isn't indulgent. It's intelligent. Do only what only you can do. The rest? Offload it. Welcome to Chapter 9 of the 4-Hour Workweek, where Tim Ferriss teaches us about finding our muse. Tim says you don't need $1 million startup, no investors, no staff, and you don't need to work 60 hours a week. What you need is a muse. A low-maintenance, high-impact business that works for you while you live your life. So what is a muse? It's a machine, a vehicle that funds your freedom and sustains your lifestyle. You don't work in it. You work on it, and eventually, not at all. Ferriss's own Muse is a sports supplement company. There's no storefront, no staff. He just has a product, a website, and automated fulfillment. It paid his bills while he traveled the world. Let's meet the student who created a Muse. Adam was a grad student who loved accelerated learning. He noticed most students struggled with reading speed and comprehension. So he filmed a few tutorials, packaged them on a DVD, and used a simple website and a checkout page. He launched it to a small email list and waited. First sale, $39. Then $78. Then $500 in a weekend. His Muse was born. So what makes a Muse work? Ferriss lays out 4 criteria. First, it solves a specific problem. Not just cool or fun, but useful. It answers a burning question for someone. Second, it targets a niche. Not everyone or busy people. Think new moms who want to meditate or freelancers who hate taxes. Third, it requires low overhead and low maintenance. You shouldn't need to ship boxes, hold inventory, or talk to customers all day. Fourth, it can be tested before being built. You don't build your product first. You test demand first. So how do you find your Muse? Ferriss recommends his famous formula: don't invent. Solve. Look close to home. What questions do people always ask you to explain? What tools, hacks, or tips do you use every day that others don't know? What frustrates you that no one seems to have fixed? Your answers are your clues. There are 3 common types of Muses: physical products like supplements, gadgets, gear, or planners; digital products like courses, templates, ebooks, or memberships; and services with automation like design packages, consulting frameworks, or recurring subscriptions. And remember, don't wait for the perfect idea. Start with the simplest version. Test a prototype, pre-sell an idea, get feedback, and improve. Here's a real example. 2 roommates noticed cat owners were obsessive. They launched a t-shirt brand for cat lovers with funny designs. They didn't start with a warehouse. They used print-on-demand tools like Printful. They marketed on Reddit and Instagram. Within months, their Muse made more than their day jobs. Now it's your turn. Our Muse brainstorm sprint. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Answer these. What's something people ask you to explain over and over? What problem have you solved for yourself recently? What topic could you talk about for 30 minutes without prep? Then choose one idea. Define the person it serves. List what a $50 to $200 solution could look like. That's your Muse seed. And remember, a Muse isn't your purpose. It just works. It's the engine that gives you space to explore your passions. As Ferriss says, don't make your art pay your rent. Let your Muse do that. In the next chapter, we'll learn how to test that Muse without building it first, because guessing is gambling. Let's make it scientific. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow. Chapter 10. Income Autopilot 2. Testing the Muse. You've got your Muse idea. Maybe it's a course, a product, a niche service. But before you build anything, Ferriss gives you this crucial advice: don't make. Test. Because the biggest mistake new entrepreneurs make, they fall in love with the idea and never ask if the world wants it. So in this video, we're breaking down Chapter 10 of the 4-Hour Workweek, where Ferriss takes you from idea to testing in 3 easy steps. Let's get started. First up, the dangerous myth of build it and they will come. Narrator, imagine this. You spend 3 months building a beautiful website. You hire a designer. Shoot a fancy promo video. You spend $2,000 launching a polished online course. And then, crickets. No sales. No traffic. Just silence. This happens every day. That's why Chapter 10 is so critical. Ferriss says, before you invest time and money, you need proof. You need data. You need results. So instead of building a business, you build a test. You're not launching a company. You're launching a test page. One product, one audience, one offer, nothing else. Next up, Ferriss's first real test. Before launching his supplement business, Ferriss didn't guess. He created a 1-page site, wrote simple ad copy, and ran Google Ads with $100. No inventory, no real product. When people clicked buy, they saw a message: we're out of stock. Leave your email to be notified. But he wasn't out of stock. He was checking demand. When the conversions rolled in, he knew it was real. Now how to test your Muse in 3 steps. Step 1. Build a simple landing page. Use tools like Gumroad, Card, Lead Pages, or Shopify. Your page should include a headline that solves a specific problem, a short paragraph describing the transformation, a mock-up or image, real or placeholder. A CTA button, buy now or sign up. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be clear. Step 2. Write 3 ad variations. Use Google Ads, Facebook, or even Reddit. Target your niche precisely. Write 3 versions. See which one performs best. Step 3. Analyze the data. You're not looking for likes or shares. You're looking for conversion signals. Click-through rate, CTR, add to cart or sign-up intent, actual purchases, if you set up payment, email opt-ins for interest. If people are clicking and signing up, you have proof. If not, tweak and try again. Quick case study, board shorts for dad bods. Mike, a 37-year-old dad, had an idea for athletic swim trunks with stretch panels and bold prints. He didn't design them first. Instead, he 1. Set up a Shopify store with mock-ups. 2. Ran Facebook ads targeting men over 30 who love the beach. 3. Drove $400 in traffic over 5 days. Result? 125 email opt-ins and 8 attempted purchases. He had validation and a list to launch to. Now what if it fails? Ferriss reminds us, failure in testing is success in disguise. If no one clicks, great. You just save months of work. Pivot. Refine. Try again. Testing fast means failing cheap. That's how you win. And remember, the whole point of a minimum viable product is to test, learn, and iterate quickly. So don't get emotionally attached to your first idea, your first test. There's plenty of time to make it beautiful later. Finally, let's summarize the Muse testing formula. Don't assume. Don't build first. Don't wait for perfection. Build, test, measure, repeat. Let the market vote with their clicks, not your emotions. Chapter 11 of the 4-Hour Workweek, Cash Flow Quadrant, Income Autopilot 3, MBA, Management by Absence. So imagine this. You wake up at 9 a.m. You stretch, grab a coffee, and check your phone. While you were asleep, 14 new orders were placed. Your assistant responded to 3 support emails. Your product was delivered instantly to happy customers, and your bank account grew without you touching a thing. This isn't fantasy. It's the final phase of the 4-hour mastery. Management by absence. Most people build businesses that depend on them. Every decision needs their input. Every customer needs their attention. Every fire needs their hand to put it out. That's not freedom. That's a cage made of good intentions. Ferriss flips the script. If your business depends on you, you don't own a business. You own a job with a boss that never sleeps. The goal is to remove yourself entirely with systems, automation, and delegation. Ferriss's rule: create systems that solve themselves. When Tim left the country for 4 weeks, he didn't check email once. Why? Because he built fail-safes into his business. If a common problem arose, his virtual assistant had a playbook. If something new came up, she made a decision, fixed it, and then documented it for next time. Each problem solved became a system. That's management by absence in action. 3 pillars of automated management. 1. Automation. Use tools to remove repetitive tasks. Examples: Shopify or Gumroad for product delivery, Stripe for payments, Zapier for connecting systems, email autoresponders for onboarding. Once set, these tools work 24/7 without you. 2. Delegation. Everything that can't be automated gets delegated. Your VA should handle customer support, order follow-ups, scheduling, repetitive communication. Train them with screen recordings and clear SOPs, standard operating procedures. Don't just tell, document. 3. Elimination. Ask yourself weekly, what task did I do today that I should never do again? Then eliminate or delegate it. Every removal equals a freedom gained. Now let's meet Diego. Diego sold a digital budgeting course. At first, he answered every email personally, managed refunds manually, and updated his website weekly. Then he read this chapter. He built a searchable FAQ. He installed Help Scout with pre-written replies. He gave his VA permission to issue refunds up to $100 without approval. Within 30 days, his inbox dropped 90%. He moved to Portugal and didn't open his laptop for a week. His business kept running. Now it's your turn. Build your absence kit. 1. Customer support system. Use Help Scout, Zendesk, or even Gmail folders. Create macros or canned replies for 80% of common questions. 2. Order and delivery automation. Set up automatic delivery for digital products. Use fulfillment services for physical goods like ShipBob or FBA. 3. Decision trees for assistance. If A happens, do B. If that fails, escalate. 4. Weekly reporting, not supervision. Your team or VA should send you one weekly summary: wins, issues, KPIs. That's it. Now I have a challenge for you. Build one system this week. Pick one task you do regularly. Ask, can this be automated? If not, can it be delegated? Create a mini SOP, 2 to 3 bullet points. Train someone or set up a tool to take it over. This is your mini MBA. Your business is not your baby. It's a machine, and machines need to run without you. Freedom doesn't come from success. It comes from systems. So step back, let it run. Then go live your life. Chapter 12, Disappearing Act, How to Escape the Office. You've automated your income. You've delegated your tasks. Your business or job no longer needs you full-time. But you're still trapped in an office, under fluorescent lights, in meetings, wearing slacks. Now what? In Chapter 12, Ferriss teaches you the art of disappearing without quitting. Yes, you can escape the office without drama, without confrontation, without burning bridges. The stealth escape plan. Narrator: Ferriss doesn't tell you to storm into your boss's office and scream, "I quit." That's theatrical, risky, and unnecessary. Instead, he gives you a step-by-step method to prove remote work works and ease your way into full-time freedom. Step 1. Become invaluable. Before you ask for anything, earn leverage. Over-deliver for 2 to 3 months. Beat deadlines. Solve problems others can't. Build trust. Why? Because indispensable people get flexibility. Step 2. The remote work trial. Now it's time to test the waters. Take one day off under a pretense. I'm waiting for a plumber. I have a medical appointment. I need to focus on a deadline. Work from home and crush it. The key: be twice as productive as usual and show proof. Send a summary email that says, "Here's what I accomplished from home today." Fewer distractions made a big difference. Envelope Step 3. Make the ask with evidence. A few days later, make your move. "Hey, I've noticed I get more done with fewer office interruptions. Could we try 1 to 2 remote days a week as a test for 2 weeks? I'll track output to compare." This isn't a request. It's a pilot program. If your boss says yes, you're on your way. If no, ask what results they'd need to see for approval. Step 4. Expand the freedom. Once the trial works, 2 days becomes 3. 3 becomes 5. Eventually, you're remote full-time. Once you're remote, geography stops mattering. You can work from your kitchen, a cafe in Tokyo, a hammock in Costa Rica. You've disappeared from the system without leaving it. Case study: Josh, the software engineer. Josh worked in a cubicle farm. His boss was old school. "If I can't see you, you're not working." But Josh used Ferriss's strategy. First, he became the go-to problem solver. Then he faked a dentist appointment, worked from home, finished 2 weeks worth of code in 1 day. He showed the results. When he proposed 1 remote day per week, his boss said yes. 3 months later, Josh was fully remote. He booked a one-way ticket to Lisbon and never looked back. What about business owners? Even if you're not employed, this chapter still matters. Many entrepreneurs trap themselves in their own businesses. Ferriss challenges you to test your absence. Leave for 3 days. Don't check in. When you return, ask, what broke? Why? How can I systemize it? Each failure reveals a flaw to fix. Each fix builds independence. Tools to help you disappear. Slack auto status. Heads down focus. We'll check messages at 2 p.m. Calendly. Let people book time instead of interrupting you. Loom. Record training videos to avoid live meetings. Zapier. Automate workflows. X. Email receipts Google Sheet, Notion, or Google Docs. SOPs your team can follow without you. Your mini escape plan. This week. 1. Choose one workday to work from home. 2. Set a goal. Output must be 150% of your office average. 3. Document results clearly. 4. Propose a 2-week remote test with those results. 5. Plan how you'll use your new free time. Travel, learning, family. Final reflection. Narrator: freedom isn't about quitting. It's about designing leverage. You don't need to leave your job. You need to leave the illusion that you must be seen to be useful. Ferriss's question for you: are you working hard or just working visibly? Your goal now? Work less. Achieve more. Disappear gracefully. Next, we'll explore what happens when your job or career is beyond repair. Some jobs can be fixed. Some roles can be redesigned. But sometimes the entire structure is broken, and when that's the case, Ferriss says something bold. You don't repair a toxic life. You replace it. In Chapter 13, we explore the signs that your job or your entire career is beyond repair and how to leave it with grace, strength, and strategy. The moment you know, have you ever had that moment? You sit in your car an extra 10 minutes just to delay going inside. Your chest tightens every Sunday night. You whisper to yourself, "This can't be my life." That's your sign, not to burn it down, but to wake up. Ferriss calls this the point of no return. And if you're there, you're not alone. Karen, the corporate VP Karen, had climbed the ladder. Corner office, big salary, nice car. From the outside, she looked successful. But inside she was crumbling. She missed her daughter's dance recitals. She woke at 2 a.m. in panic. She cried in airport bathrooms. One day during a quarterly meeting, her body revolted. She fainted, collapsed from exhaustion. That night in the ER, she didn't ask, "What went wrong?" She asked, "What do I really want instead?" Ferriss's graceful escape plan: if you're ready to leave, do it intelligently. Here's how. Step 1. Calculate your runway. How long could you survive with no income? Ferriss says aim for 3 to 6 months of living expenses and savings. Cut your costs. Cancel subscriptions. Move if needed. The goal is breathing room, not luxury. Step 2. Build your exit bridge. Start working on your Muse or freelancing now before you quit. Nights, weekends, lunch breaks. Sell one product. Land one client. What about fear? Of course you're scared. Quitting is terrifying. But staying in a life that drains you slowly? That's worse. Ferriss says, people will choose unhappiness over uncertainty. But uncertainty is the path to anything meaningful. Another story. Felix, the burned-out consultant. Felix billed $300 per hour for a global firm. But his anxiety was brutal. He dreamed of surfing in Costa Rica and running an online surf gear brand. He built it in silence for a year, during plane rides and late nights. When the Muse earned $3,000 per month, he gave notice. 2 months later, he was living 100 feet from the beach, answering emails between waves. Freedom wasn't an explosion. It was a plan. Challenge. Your exit assessment this week. 1. Answer honestly. If nothing changes in 6 months, will I still want this job? 2. If the answer is no, what's your minimum safety number? What's one action you can take this week to move toward escape? 3. Write your worst-case scenario. Then write a recovery plan. You'll realize you can survive far more than you fear. Final reminder: you don't have to hate your job to leave it. You just have to love your life enough to design something better. A graceful exit is not giving up. It's choosing yourself. Chapter 14. Mini retirements. Without waiting decades. Most people live life in a straight line. Go to school, get a job, climb the ladder, retire at 65, and then finally relax. But what if retirement isn't the end goal? What if it's a flawed concept? In Chapter 14, Ferriss presents a revolutionary idea. Mini retirements, extended breaks from work sprinkled throughout life rather than one giant pause at the end. A traditional retirement assumes 3 things. 1. You'll be healthy at 65 plus. 2. You'll have enough money. And 3. You'll still enjoy what you've postponed for decades. But often your health will decline, your energy will fade, and your dreams will shrink. So why wait to enjoy life? Why not design breaks now while you still have your curiosity, your fire, and your freedom? Let's meet Julia and Matteo. They were in their early 30s and working in finance. Every year they said, "Next year we'll travel." But next year never came until one day they read the 4-Hour Workweek. They sold their furniture, sublet their apartment, built a Muse that made $2,500 a month, and then booked 2 one-way tickets to Chile. They lived in Patagonia for 6 months. Julia studied photography. Matteo taught English and hiked glaciers. They spent less than they did in San Francisco, and it wasn't a vacation. It was a mini retirement. It changed their lives. What's the difference between a vacation and a mini retirement? A vacation is an escape. A mini retirement is reinvention. A vacation is 1 to 2 weeks. A mini retirement is 1 to 6 months or more. A vacation keeps you in tourist areas. A mini retirement helps you live like a local. A vacation crams in as many activities as possible. A mini retirement prioritizes flow. A vacation returns you to the same life. A mini retirement returns you to a new life. Okay, how do you take your first mini retirement? Ferriss outlines a practical roadmap. 1. Decide where and why. Where excites you? What will you do there? Learn, heal, reconnect. 2. Run the numbers. Most people think mini retirements are expensive, but you might spend less abroad than staying home. Research. 3. Handle the logistics. Sublet your home. Suspend or cancel subscriptions. Prep your Muse or income stream to run remotely. 4. Set personal goals. It's not about doing nothing. It's about doing something meaningful. Learn a language, train in jiu-jitsu, write a book, start a nonprofit, volunteer. Okay, cool. What if people think it's crazy? Your parents might not get it. Your coworkers may roll their eyes. But this isn't about what's normal. It's about what's true for you. You weren't born to wait 40 years to be free. Many retirements aren't irresponsible. They're intentional interruptions in the default life path, where you zoom out, reflect, realign, and return stronger. As Ferriss says, don't save your living for the end. Chapter 15, Filling the Void, Adding Life After Subtracting Work. So let's go. So you've escaped. The meetings are gone. The inbox is quiet. Your schedule is your own. And then the silence sets in. You've done what most only dream of. You've subtracted work. But now you're staring into something Ferriss calls the void, the problem no one talks about. Most people spend their lives working to escape work. But very few ask, what will I do when I no longer have to work? Freedom isn't just the absence of tasks. It's the presence of meaning. And without it, freedom can feel empty. Meet Arjun, the ex-CEO. Arjun sold his company at 42. Millions in the bank. House in the hills. Early retirement, achieved. At first, he was ecstatic. He played golf, traveled, slept in. But within 3 months, he was anxious, bored, picking fights with his wife, feeling lost. Why? Because his identity was built around doing. Without structure, he felt weightless. Ferriss says this happens to almost everyone who escapes the 9 to 5. And it's not failure, it's a signal. The signal that it's time to stop removing and start rebuilding. Here's what Ferriss and many new rich discover. Freedom isn't about leisure. It's about creation, growth, connection, and challenge. Let's break them down. 1. Learning. When you no longer have to work, learn something just because you want to. A language, an instrument, martial arts, calligraphy, bread baking. It doesn't need a purpose, just curiosity. 2. Service. Contribution heals the ego. It gets you out of your head and into the world. Ideas. Volunteer locally, mentor someone, build something for your community, teach a skill online. When you give, you grow. 3. Challenge. Set difficult, self-directed goals. Write a book, run a marathon, launch a YouTube channel, compete in a chess tournament, build your dream cabin. The human brain is built for solving problems. If you don't give it one, it will create imaginary ones. 4. Community. Freedom without connection becomes loneliness. Find or create your people. Co-working groups, hobby clubs, online masterminds, weekly dinners, walking partners. Design your social life as intentionally as your professional one. Remember Ferriss's story? When he first traveled long-term, he felt restless. No meetings, no deadlines, no inbox. But also no momentum, no spark, no rhythm. So he created structure. Morning learning, midday work or writing, and evening exploration or social time. It wasn't rigid, but it was intentional. And it gave his freedom form. Now it's your turn. Challenge. Design your ideal week. Grab a piece of paper, block out 7 days, hour by hour. Fill it with things that restore you. Learning, creating, moving, giving, resting. Now live it, just 1 week, and track how you feel. Freedom isn't a finish line. It's a design question. What will you do with your one wild and precious life? You've bought back your time. Now it's time to invest it. Not in tasks, but in joy, meaning, and legacy. Chapter 16. The top 13 new rich mistakes so you've made it. You've escaped the 9 to 5. You've built your Muse. You've taken a mini retirement. You've reclaimed your time. You've entered the world of the new rich. But before you celebrate, Ferriss offers a warning. Freedom is a skill. And like any skill, it's easy to lose if you're not deliberate. In Chapter 16, Ferriss outlines the 13 most common mistakes that sabotage freedom and how to avoid them. Let's walk through each. Warning. Mistake 1. Losing sight of your dreamlines. After achieving freedom, many forget why they wanted it in the first place. They stop dreaming. They drift. Fix. Revisit your dreamline every 3 to 6 months. Set new goals that pull you forward. Warning. Mistake 2. Micromanaging the business. You escaped the job, but now you're micromanaging your Muse. Fix. Trust your systems. Empower your team or automation. Step back regularly and review, don't react. Warning mistake 3. Doing too many things. Once free, many say yes to everything. Podcasts, projects, side ventures. Result? Burnout again. Fix. Do fewer things better. Be selective. Ruthless, even. Warning mistake 4. Falling back into work addiction. Freedom feels weird at first, so people fill the void with more work. Fix. Build non-work rituals. Make play, learning, and rest part of your schedule. Warning mistake 5. Failing to automate. You keep doing what software or assistants could do. Fix. Audit your tasks monthly. Delegate or automate anything repetitive. Warning mistake 6. Avoiding decisions. Freedom means making choices, but some freeze. Delay. Stall. Fix. Make decisions fast. 80% certainty is enough. Clarity comes from action. Warning mistake 7. Being vague. Vague goals. Vague communication. Vague priorities. Vagueness creates chaos. Fix. Be specific. Deadlines. Metrics. Expectations. Warning mistake 8. Neglecting relationships. You travel. You retreat. You build. But then you realize you're alone. Fix. Prioritize connection. Call friends. Host dinners. Build community wherever you are. Warning mistake 9. Forgetting to update systems. Your Muse runs, but it's outdated. Something breaks. Fix. Every quarter, review. Customer feedback, metrics, team flow. Refine your machine. Warning mistake 10. Not taking mini retirements. You've earned freedom, but you're not using it. Fix. Book a retreat, sabbatical, or travel sprint every 6 to 12 months. Live the dream now. Warning mistake 11. Thinking you're done. You launched the Muse. You automated it. Done, right? Nope. Fix. This lifestyle is iterative. Keep learning. Keep experimenting. Warning mistake 12. Ignoring your energy. You work during your worst hours. Push through fatigue. Fix. Work when you're sharp. Rest when you're drained. Design your day around energy, not the clock. Warning mistake 13. Forgetting gratitude. You've designed a life people only fantasize about, but you still compare. Still want more. Fix. Pause often. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every week. Reflect on how far you've come. Mail sign challenge. New rich audit. This week, ask yourself. 1. Which of these 13 mistakes am I slipping into? 2. What is one small action I can take to correct it? Then act. Tweak. Realign. Final reflection. Freedom isn't a single decision. It's a daily discipline. The new rich don't just escape the office. They design lives of meaning, balance, and adventure. Your Muse isn't the end. It's the engine. Your time isn't the prize. It's the tool. Now use it. In the final chapter, Ferriss shares a single email, a powerful, personal message from someone who took the leap and why their only regret was waiting too long. Final chapter, an email you need to read. Sometimes it takes just one message, one moment, one voice from the other side of fear to remind us what's possible. This final chapter isn't a strategy. It's a story that when I read it, it felt like a punch in the gut, but in the best possible way. In this chapter, Tim Ferriss shares an email he received from a reader. He doesn't share the name or any details to protect the person's privacy, but he does share the email. So let's dive right into it. Tim, I just wanted to say thank you. I read your book a year ago on a plane to Tokyo. I was miserable. I had a job that paid well, but stole my soul. I was scared to leave until I read your words. I ran the fear-setting exercise. I started a tiny consulting business from my couch. I cut my spending. I booked a one-way flight to Thailand. Now I surf in the mornings. I coach startups online. I spend more time with my daughter on Zoom than I ever did at home. The only regret I have is that I didn't do it sooner. That's the story Ferriss ends this book with. Not a theory, not a trick, but a real, human voice. A voice that dared to dream of a different life. A life with space, a life with rhythm, a life where you decide what matters and what doesn't. Because this book isn't about work. It's about life. So here's the final challenge. Now it's your turn. Ask yourself, what dream have I been postponing? What fear have I been feeding? What's one thing I can do this week to reclaim my time? Write it down. Make it small, but make it real. And then start. You don't need permission. You don't need $1 million. You don't need to wait until you're 65. You just need a choice and a single action. Thank you for joining me on this full audiobook journey through the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. If this story stirred something in you, if a dream was reawakened or a mindset was shifted, please like this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear it and subscribe for more audio journeys like this one. And remember, the new rich are not lucky. They are not chosen. They are not special. They are simply the ones who decided. And you can too. This is your permission slip. You've got the tools. You've got the roadmap. You've got the spark. Now go live the life others only dream about. This has been the 4-Hour Workweek audiobook experience. Your time. It starts now.